Welcome back to my channel today. We explore the value of specific coins. The top 5 most valuable Monticello Jefferson nickel coins value in today's market. So let's get started. At first glance, the 1982 D nickel might not look all that special. It was minted in large numbers. Over 480 million of these came out of the Denver Mint. But as always in coin collecting, the value is in the details. This coin features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. The D mint mark right next to Monticello tells us it was struck in Denver. So what does extra fine mean? In coin grading terms, extra fine, often labeled as XF40 or XF45, means light wear is visible on the high points of the coin, but all the major details are still clear and sharp. Now let's talk money. As of today, the average market value of a 1982 D Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition is around 25 cents to 50 cents. That's right, it's worth more than face value, but not by much. Yet, but here's the kicker. If your 1982 D nickel has a full steps designation, meaning the steps on Monticello are completely visible and uninterrupted, then you could be looking at a serious bump in value. A full steps 1982. D nickel in top grades, like MS65, can sell for $50 to even $200 or more, depending on the market and demand. So while a standard 1982-D in XF condition isn't going to make you rich, it's a solid collector's coin and a great addition to any Jefferson nickel collection. And who knows? Check those steps. You might have a hidden gem. Next up, the 1984 P Jefferson nickel, minted in Philadelphia, features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello home on the reverse. With over 746 million minted, it's a common coin, but certain conditions can make it valuable. In circulated or good condition, this nickel typically holds its face value of 5 cents. However, uncirculated coins can fetch higher prices. For instance, uncirculated examples in MS60 to MS65 grades can range from $1 to $10. Collectors highly prize nickels with full steps, sharp, well-defined steps on Monticello. A 1984 P nickel with full steps in MS65 condition can be worth around $24, and exceptional examples have sold for up to $276. The U.S. Sun +1 Gainesville coins +1 recent sales on platforms like eBay show uncirculated 1984 P nickels selling between $1 and $6, depending on condition and detail. So, while most 1984 P Jefferson nickels are common, those in pristine condition or with full steps can be valuable. Check your collection. You might have a hidden gem. Next up, the 1995 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark. And believe it or not, even in dirty condition, it could be worth more than you think. This nickel might look worn out, grimy, and even a bit neglected, but don't let that fool you. The 1995 P Jefferson nickel can still hold some surprising value in today's market, even in a condition that most would call dirty first. Let's talk about what makes the 1995 Jefferson nickel stand out. The Monticello design on the reverse of the coin is iconic, and the 1995 version was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P mint mark right next to the building. So, what is the value of the 1995 P Jefferson nickel in today's market? The answer may surprise you. In average circulated condition, a 1995 P nickel typically sells for about 10 to 15 cents, not much more than face value. However, if you have one that's in dirty or heavily circulated condition, it may still fetch around 25 to 50 cents from a collector who's looking for one to complete their set. But here's where the plot thickens. If you happen to have a 1995 P nickel in extremely good condition, say, uncirculated or with very little wear, it could be worth several dollars, even up to $2 or $3. And that's where the 1995 P Monticello nickel gets really interesting. Now, you may wonder why even a dirty, worn-out nickel can have some value. Well, collectors aren't just looking for perfect coins, they're often after pieces that are rarer or have interesting characteristics. Even if they're worn coins that have been in circulation for a long time, like this one, might have slight imperfections or anomalies that could interest numismatists. Sometimes, the condition or history of the coin adds a layer of value. If you're thinking about selling a 1995 P Jefferson nickel, here's a quick tip. Always inspect the coin closely for any unusual markings, wear patterns, or anything that could make it stand out more than a regular nickel. You can sell it online through auction platforms or visit local coin shops and ask a professional to evaluate it. Either way, a dirty nickel with the right characteristics could still bring in more than you expect. So, whether you've got a dusty old 1995 P nickel in your collection or you've just found one in your pocket change, don't underestimate its potential. Even dirty coins can be worth more than face value if you know what to look for. Next up, the 1989 Monticello Jefferson nickel, featuring the P mint mark, and its current value in today's market. If you're a collector or just curious about your own coin collection, you're in the right place. First, let's talk a little about the Monticello Jefferson nickel. Introduced in 1938, this design is a classic. On the reverse, you'll find a detailed image of Monticello, the home of President Thomas Jefferson. But today, we're focusing on a specific year, 1989, with the P mint mark, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. The obverse of the 1989 Jefferson nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. This coin was part of the regular circulating nickel series, and it's not as rare as some other coins, but it has gained attention among collectors, especially when in exceptional condition. So, what does extra fine condition mean? Well, an extra fine XF grade coin shows minimal wear, but most details, especially on the obverse and reverse, are still sharp and well-defined. It's the kind of condition you'd expect to find in a coin that has been in circulation but hasn't been overly worn down. Now, the value of the 1989 Monticello Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition isn't huge when compared to rare key date coins, but it still holds some value, especially for collectors looking for well-preserved specimens. According to the latest market reports, a 1989 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark in extra fine condition is worth around 50 cents to $1. That might not seem like much, but when you consider the age of the coin and its condition, it holds a fair amount of interest for collectors. Remember, the value can go higher if you have a coin with a special feature or error, like a double die or an unusually well-struck specimen. Always check your coins closely for any unique characteristics that could boost their value. So, while the 1989 Monticello Jefferson nickel may not be a high-value coin in most cases, it's still an interesting piece to collect, especially if you come across one in great condition. And of course, coin values can fluctuate, so it's always worth checking the latest auction results or price guides. Next up, the 1985 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. But wait, what happens if it's in bad condition? Can it still be valuable? Let's find out. First, let's set the stage. The 1985 Jefferson nickel is part of the regular coinage series minted by the United States. You've got Thomas Jefferson on the front and the famous Monticello building on the reverse. But this coin is more than just a piece of U.S. history. It can hold significant value depending on its condition, even if it's not in perfect shape. Now, let's talk about what we mean by bad condition. Coins in bad shape typically have worn-out details, scratches, discoloration, and other marks that reduce their overall appeal to collectors. You might find this nickel in your pocket change with a few dings here and there, or maybe it's been circulating for decades. But even in bad condition, some coins can surprise you. So, what is this worn-out 1985 Monticello Jefferson nickel worth today? Despite its less-than-perfect appearance, these coins can still carry some value. Typically, a 1985 nickel in bad condition could be worth around 10 to 15 cents. That's right, even in worn-down shape, it's still worth more than its face value due to its age and historical significance. Why is this coin even valuable in bad condition? Well, as with any collectible, rarity plays a role. Although 1985 was a standard year for the nickel, some collectors will pay a little more for coins in certain conditions because they're harder to find in circulation today. Plus, there's a strong collector interest in Jefferson nickels overall, especially ones with unique minting details, even if they're in poor condition. Another key factor is the mint mark. This one has a P, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint. While the P mint mark isn't rare, it still carries weight in the collecting community. And as time goes on, these coins could become harder to find, meaning their value could increase even if it's just a slight bump. So, to wrap it up, while a 1985 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in bad condition isn't going to make you rich, it still holds a place in the market and can be worth more than just its face value. If you have one, it's definitely worth checking out. It could be a gem in the rough or a nice addition to your collection. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. Happy collecting!